You roll.
All right.
Quiet on the set.
This could be a long story,
Quiet
but
on
I
set,
won't.
please.
I'll make it short. So Don Ray and I have been work partners and friends since 1995. And in the beginning, my name's Jason Walsh. Born and raised Alaskan, lived in Alaska for 45 years. Worked out in the outdoors in some capacity or other, whether building trails or guiding for 25 of those years. And in the process of doing that, one of the things I learned that I love is I love sharing Alaska with people, that because everybody's jazzed on Alaska. But also being outdoors, being in the backcountry, being in the front country, building things so people can access the backcountry, and the experiences that people have was always a big motivator for me. I love how much people grasp from the seat of a kayak or the working end of a Pulaski or hiking up a mountain and sending even a small peak, which for them was a big peak. The process the journey they went through. And so early on in that career, I met Don Ray, as I just said, and Don was also kind of on this similar path as a business owner. He started Exposure, and I worked with him. I was the first guide with him outside of himself. And that was where we learned a lot about getting people outdoors, what it meant, what it was like. In the process, we were building cabin also for him. And so we also had this idea as we went through building the cabin, which kind of looked a lot like this place at first. It was nothing, just a rugged patch of earth. And we were able, through a lot of hard work and figuring out what tools worked, in his vision, in his designs, we put the trail crews to work. And it sort of became like a work camp, but it was very educational for all of us. And the process of learning to build the cabin site and learning to build out on the trails in the marine camps that we were building, we thought there's something more to this. The bonding experience we had as a crew and what we learned together, we all felt we came out of it more knowledgeable, more skilled, more confident to take on whatever. And so Don and I all over the years talked about this idea of like, how do you distill that down, and maybe like we could get people just to come to join us for a couple weeks and kind of share this magic that was happening, this sort of experiential education through work and being outdoors. So we went a bit of our separate ways. I've always worked with Don, but then Micah started. And through the process of Micah, where I also met my wife, who in 2004, the early versions of Micah turned into, a lot of learning to dial in the process. How do you train guides? Now we went from Exposure, where we were mastering lists, and we were mastering sort of this wild risk management, to Don took off with like, how do we train guides? How do we make things a system? And so Micah started to evolve, and we started to see, through this process, the education component come out. And after a few years of him just working on Micah solely to just get his business off the ground, this idea of like getting people out here for 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time, teaching them, kept growing. So in the last couple of years, we've all come together, Alyssa, Dawn, and I, and made sort of like, let's make this happen. Let's take it away from Micah. Let's move it into an actual school where we could make all these dreams over the years and all this kind of je ne sais quoi, the thing I cannot explain, come together. And so for 2 years now, we've been working 2 solid years. I think it goes back a little further than that, 2.5 years. The 3 of us plus some folks coming in once in a while to give some really good ideas have really been working hard on developing not only the vision for what it physically looks like, but a curriculum and a mission a vision for what it looks like when people come and what they walk away with. And so we started wanting to get adults, college age folks, but we've adjusted with the times, and we think teens are a good starting point for us, and so this year is going to be a big deal. What you see here, a week ago, looked like, the brush out in the woods there. So anyway, that's who I am. That's the background. That's what I got.
Sweet.